Imagine being the face of a global streaming empire, then watching that same empire crown someone else its new queen. The headlines, the interviews, the billboards, all for another woman. Not you. Not the Duchess of Sussex, not Meghan Markle, but Victoria Beckham. And not because she's younger, not because she's more powerful, but because she's more real. That's the sting Meghan Markle can't shake. Because once again, the crown she thought she'd built for herself, the crown of influence, relevance, and admiration, has quietly been passed to someone else. Let's rewind. For years, Meghan's name was synonymous with reinvention. She'd left the palace, left the crown, left the press in shambles, and marched straight into Hollywood with a new mission: control the narrative. Her Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan was supposed to be that narrative, the ultimate reclamation story. The Duchess turned documentarian, the woman who dared to tell her truth, her way. But the truth didn't hit. Instead of empathy, she got eye rolls. Instead of triumph, she got fatigue. Viewers described the series as overproduced, inauthentic, and more PR pitch than personal story. And when Netflix released her follow-up project with Love, Meghan, it flopped harder than anyone expected. The same company that once threw tens of millions her way barely mentioned the release. No billboards, no red carpets, no fanfare. Because Netflix had a new darling, Victoria Beckham. And when Beckham dropped, it wasn't just a show, it was a phenomenon. Red carpet premiere, global charts, a tidal wave of praise. The same platform that once symbolized Meghan's comeback had now crowned a new queen, a queen of quiet class, of grounded charm, of authenticity. And that is what sent Meghan boiling, because deep down she knows it's true. Netflix didn't betray her, it evolved past her. They didn't choose favorites out of politics, they chose honesty. Victoria Beckham didn't try to manipulate her image, she let it breathe. Viewers saw her home, her family, her insecurities, her humor. They saw the cracks and the warmth inside them. She gave the world what Meghan never could, herself, unfiltered. It wasn't about perfection. It was about humanity. Victoria laughed at herself, admitted her struggles, shared moments that weren't flattering. Meanwhile, Meghan's every shot looked like it had been approved by a branding committee. The light too soft, the smile too rehearsed. Every candid moment felt like it had a script off screen, and the world noticed. Authenticity in today's culture is the new luxury. And Victoria sold it better than any handbag she's ever designed. But this rivalry didn't begin on Netflix. No, this story's roots stretch back to palace corridors, tabloids, and whispered phone calls that ended in betrayal. Once upon a time, before the royal exit, before the lawsuits, before Oprah, Meghan and Victoria were friends. Shopping trips, designer fittings, private dinners. Two women balancing fame and family, bonding over the surreal pressure of always being photographed. Until one rumor blew it all apart. Word spread that Meghan believed Victoria had leaked personal stories about her to the press. It wasn't true, but it didn't matter. Meghan accused, Victoria fumed, and the friendship disintegrated overnight. What followed was pure British frost, polite smiles in public, daggers in private. And now, years later, Victoria Beckham has achieved what Meghan always craved: admiration without controversy, success without chaos. While Victoria's Netflix series showed her as open, self-aware, and endearingly human, Meghan's came across like an infomercial for her own virtue. When Victoria joked about her working-class roots, "We were very working class," she laughed, only for David to chime in. "Be honest, your dad had a Rolls Royce." The world melted. The banter was unscripted, honest, British. Humor at its finest. Compare that to Meghan and Harry's on-camera chemistry. Stiff smiles, tense pauses, eyes darting for approval. She speaks, he nods. She directs, he follows. The warmth that defined the Beckhams feels replaced by a quiet power struggle. Netflix didn't need to choose sides. The public did it for them. Victoria's series felt real. You saw stress, laughter, imperfection. You saw her world, not just her image. Meghan's felt curated, perfect, distant. like a showroom tour where you're warned not to touch the furniture. And behind the scenes, insiders say Meghan knows it. The envy, they say, isn't subtle, it's palpable. Because in her mind, Victoria Beckham didn't just outshine her professionally. She outclassed her personally, and that for Meghan is unforgivable. Because the truth is, Victoria's story is everything Meghan's tried to sell, and couldn't. The self-made woman. The glamorous mother, the loving wife. The career that survived ridicule, reinvention, and aging gracefully. Victoria did. All of it, without alienating a nation or losing her sense of humor. So, when Beckham became Netflix's crown jewel, Meghan wasn't just jealous. She was dethroned. But then came the moment that turned embarrassment into spectacle. Paris Fashion Week. Balenciaga's show. A fortress of luxury, power, and exclusivity, the kind of event you don't just attend, you're invited. And there she was, Meghan Markle, draped in black and white couture, posing like a queen in exile. Cameras flashed. Publicists whispered. The Duchess of Sussex had arrived. Except, she wasn't supposed to, according to Balenciaga's creative director. Meghan invited herself. You heard that right. She texted him directly, asking for a seat. And while they obliged, awkwardly, it wasn't elegance. It was desperation in haute couture. Fashion insiders said it outright. She pushed her way in. Because when you have to ask for the spotlight while your rival is being escorted in by the host, that's not power. That's panic. And that panic has been showing, because Meghan has been trying, for years, to attach herself to someone else's sparkle. First it was Princess Diana. The clothes, the hair, the shy head tilt, she studied it, recreated it. Then came Kate Middleton. The wardrobe palette, the demure poses, the smiles, and now? The full Victoria Beckham era. Sleek hair, minimal makeup, dark sunglasses, lips pressed tight. It's not homage. It's imitation. And the tragedy of it is that Meghan doesn't realize, the more she copies, the less she connects. Every borrowed gesture says the same thing. I don't know who I am. Victoria Beckham, for all her careful poise, never pretended to be anything else. She built her brand through consistency, through quiet strength, through taste. Meghan has built hers through reinvention. So many reinventions. In fact, that none of them stick. But if the Balenciaga stunt was a PR stumble, what came next was a full-blown meme. The Canning Tongs incident. It started as an innocent lifestyle photo, Meghan in her kitchen demonstrating her new home preservation line, posing with jars of fruit and perfectly pressed linen. The caption, wholesome, intentional, aspirational. But eagle-eyed fans spotted something hilarious. The tongs she used, the ones meant to safely lift hot jars, were upside down. The rubber grip that's supposed to hold the jar, she was holding that end. The internet went feral. Sweetheart, one commenter wrote, that's not how physics works. Another joked, she's preserving embarrassment. Within hours, the image had gone viral, a perfect metaphor for Meghan's entire brand. Perfect lighting, perfect presentation, zero substance. Because here's the thing, when your entire brand is relatable sophistication, nothing kills it faster than proving you don't actually live the life you're selling. The photo was supposed to show craftsmanship. It showed confusion. It was meant to be domestic bliss. It became domestic comedy. And that one mistake, that single upside-down pair of tongs, became a symbol. Not just of a PR flub, but of a pattern. A woman so obsessed with appearing effortless that she's forgotten what effort looks like. Meanwhile, Victoria Beckham's world couldn't look more opposite. Her fashion empire is thriving. Her Netflix show is universally praised. Her image? Balanced, respected, even adored. She's the establishment's darling now, the same establishment Meghan declared war on years ago. Even King Charles reportedly adores the Beckhams. Imagine that. The woman Meghan once accused of betrayal now enjoys royal favor, while Meghan and Harry remain exiled in spirit. Glamorous, yes, but rootless. And Harry, well, he's not helping. Reports claim he recently wrote yet another letter to the UK Home Office, begging for his taxpayer-funded security privileges back. To the palace, it looked like déjà vu, the same tone-deaf entitlement that defined Megxit. To the public, it looked desperate. Every move the Sussexes make feels like another spin of the same wheel. More complaints, more demands, more perfectly worded. Statements about safety, privacy, and well-being. It's a never-ending cycle, and the brand they've built, once revolutionary, now feels tired. Meanwhile, Victoria doesn't talk about narratives. She lives hers, and that's the difference. Victoria Beckham didn't win this war because she's richer, or luckier, or British royalty approved. She won because she's real. Because in a world addicted to filters, she dared to be flawed. Because she knows that when you stop pretending, the world stops doubting. And Meghan Markle, for all her ambition, intelligence, and media savvy, still hasn't learned that lesson. When Victoria stumbles, she laughs. When Meghan stumbles, she posts a press statement. When Victoria gets criticized, she shrugs it off. When Meghan gets criticized, she sues. The contrast is brutal. One woman has learned to flow with the chaos. The other is still trying to choreograph it. And here's the cruel irony. Meghan could have been Victoria Beckham. She had every ingredient: beauty, drive, a platform, a husband who adored her. But somewhere between acting and activism, she forgot that relatability isn't built on control. It's built on courage, the courage to be messy, vulnerable, human. Instead, she's turned life into a performance. Every speech rehearsed, every smile strategic, every move measured. And when your audience can feel the calculation, they stop. Feeling the connection, that's why the world is laughing with Victoria, but rolling its eyes at Meghan. Because one woman gave them a story, and the other gave them a script. And that's what this entire feud boils down to. Authenticity versus aspiration. One built her empire by showing the cracks. The other built hers trying to hide them. And in today's world, the cracks are where the light gets in. So while Victoria Beckham clinks champagne glasses at her Netflix after-party, basking in the glow of global praise, Meghan Markle is staring at her phone, wondering where it all went wrong, wondering why the world didn't fall in love with the version of her she worked so hard to design. But that's the thing about design. You can control the lighting, you can polish the words, you can curate every frame. What you can't fake is soul. And that's what Victoria Beckham has, and what Meghan Markle, for all her effort, keeps losing. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about Netflix or fashion shows or even royalty. It's about something much bigger. What happens when jealousy becomes your identity? When you chase someone else's authenticity so hard, you forget to have your own. Victoria stayed real. Meghan stayed rehearsed. And in the court of public opinion, authenticity always wins. So the next time you see Meghan Markle pose for another candid shot or launch another project about empowerment, ask yourself, does she believe it? Or is she still trying to convince us she does? Because the world has already decided. It doesn't love perfection anymore. It loves truth. And Victoria Beckham, of all people, just proved that the crown doesn't go to the most glamorous woman in the room. It goes to the one who dares to be human.